Good morning, dear students. So today we are going to start with the next part of the same chapter which we were discussing in last class, that is tissues. So in last class we have already completed about collenchyma, parenchyma, and in permanent tissue we have to start with the next one, that is sclerenchyma. So let's see what is sclerenchyma. So basically sclerenchyma cells, sclerus means hard. That means something very hard. Sclerenchyma are the dead cells and they are devoid of protoplasm. That means they does not consist of protoplasm. The cell walls of sclerenchyma are greatly thickened of lignin. Such walls are called lignified. Its lumen becomes nearly absent. They don't have intercellular spaces. A conspicuous middle lamella exists between two sclerenchymatous cells. Middle lamella is thin layer of cementing substance containing pectin, lignin, and protein. It occurs between cell walls of two adjacent plant cells. Sclerenchyma cells are divided into following types, that is fibers and sclerites. Now, what is lignin first of all? Lignin is a complex polymer which acts as a cement and hardens cell wall. It provides flexibility and great tensile and compressional strength. A high tensile strength means that it does not break easily. Yeah? So it does not break easily on stretching, and a high compressional strength means that it does not buckle easily. Here, so that is the role of lignin. Now, sclerenchyma cells are divided into following types. That is, first is fibers and second is scleroid. Here, so let's see what is fibers and what is sclerites. You can see in the diagram, children. It is divided into two, that is sclerites and fibers. So first one is representing fibers, second is sclerites. Now, what is fibers or what is sclerites? One by one, we will understand each. Basically, fiber consists of very long, narrow, thick, and lignified cells. The length of sclerenchymatous cells varies from 1 mm to 550 mm in different plants. Fibers are usually pointed at both ends. You can see in the diagram also, and are clustered into strands and look polygonal in transverse section. When we talk about sclerites, then sclerites are also called grid cells or stone cells, are irregular shaped. Example, sclerites may be spherical, oval, cylindrical, T-shaped, dumbbell shaped, or stellate. They are dead and develop in various parts of the plant such as cortex, pith, phloem, heart seeds, etc. Often oblique, thin areas are found in the thick walls of both fibers and scleroids. These are called pits. Yeah, so you can see in the diagram where pits are situated and what will be the structure of scleroid and fiber. Now, next question comes occurrence, that means where this sclerenchyma cell is present. So basically the sclerenchyma occurs in abundance either in patches or definite layer. They are found in stems, around the vascular bundle, roots, veins of leaves, hard covering of seeds and nuts. Sclerites form the gritty part of the most of the ripe fruits and contribute hardness to the seed coat and nutshells. You can see the diagram of coconut, like husk of coconut is made up of sclerenchymatous cell or tissue. It is present in the mesocarp of fruit of coconut and yield coir, a well-known fiber used for mats. Then Godrej, that is ropes and cords, brushes, etc. So that husk of coconut is made up of what? Sclerenchymatous tissue. Now, what is the difference between sclerenchyma and sclerites? Now, if we see one by one each, first is they are elongated, spindle-shaped, thick-walled dead cells, but scleroids, they are broad, thick-walled dead cells. Sclerenchyma, they are arranged in bundles, nets, and cylinders, but in scleroids, they occur singularly or in small groups. In sclerenchyma, they do not form covering of any plant organ. In scleroids, they form hard covering of nuts and seeds. Sclerenchyma fibers, they provide mechanical strength, whereas scleroids, they provide stiffness. Clear? So that is the difference between sclerenchyma and scleroids. Now, what is the function of the sclerenchyma, children? The sclerenchyma is mainly mechanical and protective in function. It gives strength, rigidity, flexibility, and elasticity to the plant body and thus enables it to withstand with various strains. Now, next is difference between collenchyma and sclerenchyma. What is the difference, children? First is it consists of living cells. In case of the sclerenchyma, it consists of dead cells. Second, it consists or its cells contain cytoplasm, whereas in sclerenchyma, its cells are empty. In collenchyma, its cell walls are cellulosic, whereas in sclerenchyma, its cell wall are lignified. In collenchyma, the thickening of cell wall is not uniform, but in sclerenchyma, the cell wall thickening is uniform. In collenchyma, lumen of the cell is wide, but in sclerenchyma, lumen of the cell wall is or lumen of the cell is narrow. Here, lumen of the cell is wide in case of collenchyma and lumen of the cell is narrow in case of sclerenchyma. 6 point, it provides mechanical support and elasticity to the plant body. But in case of sclerenchyma, it is chiefly mechanical tissue. Now next is, here one diagram is represented just to show what are the different types of tissues are present. So if we see that are all the cells similar in structure, so you will find no, there are so many different types of tissues are present. Like together they have 7 types of cells: epidermal cells, collenchyma, parenchyma, sclerenchyma, xylem, phloem, and cambium. All of these cells perform different functions such as conduction of water, transport of food, protection, support, food storage, growth. Thus, from this we can say that tissue, or whenever we see the transverse section of stem, so it consists of a lot of different types of tissues and with different functions. Clear? Now, there is one more tissue which we call it as protective tissue, as you can see in the diagram. So protective tissues are basically epidermis and cork. Now what is this epidermis, children? You can see in the diagram also the first layer just after the cuticle, or just merge with the cuticle. That particular layer is known as epidermis. The epidermis is usually present in the outermost layer of the plant body, such as leaves, flowers, stem, and roots. Epidermis is one cell thick and is covered with cuticle. Clear? Now the main function of epidermis is to protect the plant from desiccation and infection. In fact, cuticle of the epidermis help to reduce water loss by evaporation from the plant surface and also help in preventing the entry of pathogen. Now what is cork? As plant grows older, the outer protective tissue undergoes certain changes. A strip of secondary meristem called phelogen or cork cambium replaces epidermis of stem. So cork cambium is a simple tissue having only one type of cells, and the cells of cork cambium are rectangular and their protoplasts are vacuolated and contain tannins and chloroplasts. So cork cambium gives off new cells on its both sides, thus forming cork or phloem on the outer side and secondary cortex or pheloderm on the inner side. So the layer of cells which is cut by cork cambium on the outer ultimately becomes several layers thick, called cork of the tree. Clear? So basically, what is the function of this cork? Cork is protective in function. Cork cells prevent desiccation, that is loss of water from the plant body, infection and mechanical injury. Cork is light and does not catch fire easily. Due to these properties, cork is used as insulator, shock absorbers, linoleum, and sport goods. Okay. So these all are some of the functions of the cork, which is again a protective layer found in case of plant tissue. Now next is complex permanent tissue. So we have seen about permanent, that simple permanent tissue. Now next is complex permanent tissue. Now what is complex permanent tissue? In simple terms, we can say complex means a complex permanent tissue may be defined as group of more than one type of cells having a common origin and working together as a unit to perform a common function. The complex tissues are mainly concerned with the transportation of water, mineral nutrients, and organic solutes. Complex tissues are of following two types, that is xylem. Xylem is also referred as wood, and phloem or bast. Clear? So in simple terms, we can say that complex tissues consist of more than one type of cells having a common origin. All these cells coordinate to perform a common function. Clear? Whereas in case of simple permanent tissue, it consists of one type of cell. In complex, more than one type of cell. So it is further divided into two, that is xylem and phloem. Now, what is xylem? So basically, xylem is the chief conducting, or we can also say that xylem is the main conducting tissue of vascular plants responsible for conduction of water and inorganic solutes. The tissues is composed of four kinds of cells: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, xylem fibers. Now, what is tracheids? One by one we will see. If we talk about its structure, then they are elongated, tube-like dead cells with oblique end walls. The end walls remain intact and possess bordered pits. In transverse section, they usually appear angular or polygonal. The walls are hard and lignified. Now, what is vessels or trachea? The cells of vessels are placed one upon the other, and their end walls are either absent or possess perforations. They form long tubes or channels for conduction of water and minerals. Vessels are found mainly in angiosperms, and tracheids are vessels. Together, they are considered as tracheidy element. Now, next is xylem parenchyma. Now, what is this? These are living parenchymatous cell. Okay, and present in the xylem, they help in lateral conduction of organic solute and storage of food reserves. Next is xylem fibers. These are lignified fibers present in the xylem, which provide mechanical strength to the plant body. You can see in the diagram, and you can see the difference also: xylem parenchyma, then xylem trachea, xylem vessel, and here this side, this is xylem fiber. So this is the difference. Now next is functions of xylem. What is the main function of xylem, children? So basically, xylem is major conducting tissue in vascular plant. It serves in the upward movement of the water, mineral salts from root to different aerial parts of the plant. Xylem gives mechanical strength to the plant body. Next is phloem. Phloem is the chief food conducting tissue. Phloem is the chief food conducting tissue of vascular plant. It is regarded as living conducting tissue responsible for translocation of organic solutes, and the phloem is composed of four elements. First is sieve tube, then companion cells, then phloema parenchyma, and then phloem fibers. So one by one we will understand what is sieve tube. Sieve tubes are, you will understand easily with the help of diagram. So if you will see the structure of sieve tube, the second one, which is indicating sieve plate, sieve tube, sieve pore. So that is the diagram of sieve tube. So what is the sieve tube? Basically, sieve tubes are long tubular structures composed of elongated sieve tube elements placed one above the other, forming a continuous tube. The end walls of sieve tube elements are called sieve plates. You can see in the diagram, end walls of sieve tube. This is what sieve plate. Now, the end walls of sieve tube elements are called sieve plates. The sieve plates are perforated by numerous pores. Each mature sieve tube element has thin or thick cellulose wall surrounding a highly albuminous and viscous contents. Cytoplasm occurs in the form of thin lining enclosing a big central vacuole. The nucleus, plastids, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, and dictyosome are absent. Now, second is companion cell, children. What is companion cell? You can see in the diagram where it is situated. These are living cells, usually always associated with the sieve tube, right? It is associated with the sieve tube. Now, the sieve tube elements and companion cells arise from the same initial cell and therefore form a single functional unit. Each companion cell is living cell within the cellulose wall and active protoplast. It possesses all the important cellular contents such as nucleus, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, etc. The common wall between sieve tube and companion cell shows presence of fine pits which are transversed or which are traversed by plasmodesmata. Now, next is phloem parenchyma. Now, what is phloem parenchyma, children? The living parenchymatous cells present in phloem are called phloem parenchyma. The living parenchymatous cells present in phloem are called phloem parenchyma. You can see in the diagram where it is situated. Next is phloem fibers. Dead sclerenchymatous fibers present in the phloem are called phloem fibers. Now, next is functions of phloem. What are the functions of phloem? So, phloem transports photosynthetically prepared food materials from the leaves to the storage organs and later from the storage organs to the growing regions of the plant body. Clear? So, this is the function of the phloem. Now, next is differences between xylem and phloem. Now, what is the difference between xylem and phloem? If we see one by one, like in case of xylem, it conducts water and minerals, but in case of phloem, it conducts organic solutes or food materials. In case of xylem, conduction is mostly unidirectional, that is from roots to apical part of the plant. But in case of phloem, in it, conduction may be bidirectional, that is from the leaves to storage organ or growing parts. Xylem conducting channels or tracheary elements are tracheids and vessels, whereas in case of phloem, conducting channels are sieve tubes. Clear? Now, in xylem, components of xylem include tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, xylem fibers. But in phloem, components of phloem include sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. In xylem, 3 of the 4 elements of xylem are dead, that is tracheid, vessels, and fibers. Only xylem parenchyma is living. But in case of phloem, 3 of 4 elements are living, that is sieve tubes, companions, and phloem parenchyma. Only phloem fibers are dead. In addition to the conduction, xylem provides mechanical strength to the plant. But in case of phloem, phloem performs no mechanical function for the plants. So we are done with the plant tissue. Now in next class, we have to start with the animal tissue. So I have given few questions as an assignment. Please complete those questions and complete your notes as well. If you have any doubt, then please do write in Campus Care. Thanks, happy learning.